Chicago may be known for its skyline, but the rest of the state is also marked by breathtaking views from Starved Rock State Park and the Mississippi River to the Abraham Lincoln National Cemetery. Geoffrey Baer's latest special explores Illinois' landscape and landmarks from the air using drone footage to take viewers across the state. Here's a clip from Beyond Chicago from the Air.
In an 1886 interview with the Chicago Tribune, Mark Twain said, "It is strange how little has been written about the upper Mississippi. The river below St. Louis has been described time and again, and it's the least interesting part. Along the upper Mississippi, every hour brings something new. There are crowds of odd islands, bluffs, prairies, hills, woods, and villages. Everything one could desire to amuse the children."
And Beyond Chicago from the Air premieres tonight after this show, but Geoffrey joins us right now for a preview. Geoffrey Baer, great to see you in person.
Right here in the studio. How about it?
All right, so you begin this special inspired by that Mark Twain quote, exploring the upper Mississippi River. Why?
Well, you know, it was so great to be able to go beyond the borders of Chicago and talk about things I've never talked about before in my shows, notably things like the Mississippi River, you know, the lore of the Mississippi. Of course, if you talk about Mississippi, you have to talk about Mark Twain. And if you talk about Mark Twain, you can't help it. You got to talk about Hannibal, Missouri. Look where we went out into the farm fields and shot a 25-square-mile wind farm. This crazy house at Oak Park that sort of reminds us of a sandcastle. And the drone really gives you the context of how that house looks. Here's the Indiana Dunes. So we got to take a kind of a deeper dive into some things we have talked about before and see it from this different perspective from the air. We went to Joliet Prison. One of the facts I learned there was that the prisoners themselves quarried the stone and literally were like, you know, walling themselves in. So really learned a lot about things I'd never gotten to explore before.
That's the thing. These beautiful pictures lead us to great unknown facts or maybe forgotten facts that you discovered. Tell us about the drones that were used to capture all that footage.
Yeah, well, so I didn't want this to just be sort of video wallpaper, right? So our drone camera crew has one of those big drones, and they, you know, can shoot the big sweeping shots. But then they also have, look, this is called first-person view, where the drone cameraman like puts on goggles and like flies like in a video game.
Right.
And so, and look at these are the Temple Lipizans up in the northwest region. Here's the chain of lakes. So we got to use this first-person view drone, ski jumping.
Where's that?
That's ski jumping in Fox River Grove. And then we shot in several seasons of the year too. Earlier you saw the Starved Rock. Oh, there's Joliet Prison again. You saw Starved Rock in fall with the fall colors, and then we also shot, you know, snowmobile racing on the chain of lakes in the winter and the ski jumping. So I wanted to have, like, you know, exciting footage.
I wish we had WTTW 3D or even Meta
that
we could really experience that. Okay, so you're not just, it's not all fun and games, it's not all beauty shots. You talk about some of the darker parts of Illinois' history.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
And I think that's, you know, we want to tell a full story. So, you know, Native American people were not well treated, and we really talk a lot about Native American history and indigenous history in this show. We talk about Black Hawk. Of course, we know that our hockey team is the Black Hawks, but the historical figure Black Hawk, the Sauk warrior, 2 words, you know, was very mistreated. He was banished west of the Mississippi by a treaty. He tried to come back and plant crops on his land, which had been taken over by settlers, and the militia was mustered, and he was chased down. His people were slaughtered trying to flee back across the Mississippi, and he was paraded around the country, including a visit to Andrew Jackson, the notoriously anti-Indian president.
All right, well, there's a lot to learn here, and viewers, just sit tight. It's going to be in full in just a few minutes. Geoffrey Baer, thanks so much.
Glad to be here.
And Beyond Chicago from the Air premieres in just a few minutes, as we said, right here on WTTW. Be sure to check out WTTW.com/Beyond Chicago for much more, including a map of all the sites featured in the special.